Hi everybody, it's Miss Julie. So happy Earth Day. Today is Earth Day, so we're outside in my garden and we're going to be doing kind of a lot of Earth Day type art activities using recycled materials and some things like rocks and flowers and stuff like that. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through some ideas for inspiration that maybe you can do later once you gather the materials. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to turn it a little bit down. I'm probably going to be moving it around a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing, and I can hold it up. So first, what we're going to start with is some rock painting. So I have my collection of rocks. So if you're, the little ones, especially like 2 and under, they want to get like more, bigger rocks and things like that. The older ones can work with smaller rocks. So kind of look around and see what you can find, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take an egg carton. So this is a really good thing to use for your paints. I'm using acrylic paint, which is not washable. So I recommend washable paints unless you're school age. Then you can handle these because they're not going to come out of your clothes. So I'm wearing a smock, but maybe tempera paints. That's what we use at school. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix a couple colors. So we're going to take the 3 primary colors, and that is red, yellow, and blue. And basically it kind of shows us if we mix these 2 together, red and blue, what are we going to get? Let's find out. So I'm going to take a little bit of blue and some red, and I'm going to mix it together. You can kind of see with the sun. That is going to give us our nice purple color. Okay? Want to make sure you have some water nearby and a towel so you can clean up. So see, my water is already turning purple. So I have my purple. So I cleaned out my brush because we don't want to get all the colors mixed together. That makes it murky. So now we're going to do red and yellow. So I'm taking some red and some yellow. And that, what's that making? A beautiful orange. Okay, I'm going to rinse out my orange so we can do the last color. So we have these 2. We're going to mix yellow and blue. And what's that making? Green. So now we have our secondary colors, which are purple, orange, and green. So you really if you get these 3 color paints, you could make the other color paints. All right, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, which is perfect because we're gonna make a rainbow using rocks, okay? So for the little ones, they can just take the rocks and put them right in, like this. The older ones can actually paint it. So I'm going to take a rock, I'm going to put them in each of my colors. Like that, okay? So I want to make sure they get the colors. So I'm going to kind of switch it around with my fingers a little bit. If you have tempera paint, you can put a lot of paint in there, and then you won't have to do that. You can just dunk it in. All right, so I'm going to put all these rocks into a tray. So here's another recycled material. You can use a pie tin, baking sheet, a box lid, tape your paper on. So let's see, we're gonna do a few of these. So let's do a couple different combinations. Let's do blue, red, and yellow and see if we can make some secondary colors just by taking it like this and swishing it around. Falls out, just put it back in. So I can actually see some green in there, a little bit of orange. Let's see if we can get some purple. There we go. Okay, so there's our first. I'm going to discard these ones in here, my little rainbow rocks, which I can save for another project. Okay, so there's our first painting. So at school we use, the older kids can use marbles. The younger kids, they use the little like egg shakers. If you have any plastic eggs left over from Easter, you can tape them shut. They can use those. All right, so let's try another one. We're gonna take my paper, I'm gonna tape it down. And now we're gonna try the next 3 colors. Dump them in, swish them around. Now we're mixing our secondary colors. So we got green, purple, and orange. See, there we go. That kind of gives a whole different look. We'll put our rainbow rocks in our discard cup. And we have another painting like this. So you can go ahead and just tape those up to dry somewhere. All right, so, okay. Let's move on to painting the rocks. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of make a rainbow. So I'm gonna put my paper down again. And this time I'm gonna actually paint them, just to give you that idea. The little kids, they don't have to, they can just do all the colors, but the goal is to do one of each color. So I'm gonna make a rainbow of rocks, all right? So I'm gonna use my rocks, and I'm actually gonna paint it. This is a very smooth rock. So there's my red. Clean out my brush. I'm gonna go in order. We have orange. Next, yellow. So you can kind of see how it's coming. So I'm building my rainbow. After that, we have green. Important to always clean out your brushes. You start really focusing on that in pre-K. So it's not just one murky color once they all get all mixed up. Blue. And one more color. Purple. So now I can kind of position, make my rainbow like that. Okay, so you can try that project. You can even glue them down if you have like some good glue. Maybe on some cardboard, something a little bit sturdy, because rocks are heavy. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a flower. So I'm gonna choose my favorite color and make a flower with rocks. So basically we're gonna use 2 colors. You're gonna do one for the middle of the flower and one for the petals. So I'm gonna get my first rock and I'm gonna make a yellow center. So this one will be yellow. Okay. And then all the petals are gonna be the same color. So I think I'm gonna do purple. So I do like purple a lot. So there's one. Running out of purple, we can make a little bit more, which is red and blue. Two. And you're just going to do as many rocks as you need until you have petals circling that center rock. And it depends also how big your rocks are. I have a pretty extensive rock and shell collection myself from all over I'm actually painting some special things. Okay, so the good thing with acrylic paint is it's going to last and show up pretty well. So I'm just going to add a little bit more yellow to that middle rock. For you to see. Okay, so there we go. So you can see I made so once again, you could glue this down, especially if you have hot glue at home. You could try regular glue, but a craft glue might be better, like Aleene's or something like that. And if you wanted to continue, you could do maybe some green rocks for some leaves, which is kind of pretty. Maybe just like 3 or 4. So that's an idea. Afterwards, you're going to have all these beautiful rocks that can go in our next project. All right, so now we're going to move on to project number 2, and that's creating mini gardens. So for recycled materials, you can use, this was a candle, so I saved it, and I put some soil. If you don't have soil, you can just collect some dirt. Maybe you have sand, and fill it up, okay? Then I got 2 coffee mugs. Maybe if you have an old mug you don't use anymore or has a crack in it, something like that, you can use a coffee mug. This was one that someone made, like that. So I prepared 3 of them, and I went around my garden and picked some leaves and flowers. So if you have flowers and leaves, you can ask your mom and dad to help you cut some. Or maybe if you go on a little walk or hike, you might find some wildflowers out there, and that will work. Oh, my little leaves are already getting wilted. Okay, they've been sitting in the sun for a few minutes. So basically, I have an egg carton that I'm using to like compartmentalize some fun stuff that I found. So maybe you have marbles or shells or any, some shiny things that aren't too fancy that you could use for your mini gardens. And then you can also gather some toys. So I have like this little cat, so I'm gonna make him a house. I have butterfly. I have a frog. I have this parrot. I have this little tribal guy. I have this little guy and a baby. And I have some little houses here that I actually made. Maybe you have some little toy houses. These were made out of clay. So basically I'm gonna kind of build a home for these little guys. So let's start with this tribal guy. So he's gonna live in this cut. So let's give him maybe some of these little rocks in here. That. He's gonna be over here guarding the land. And we're gonna have a little butterfly hanging out. And perhaps maybe we'll give him the parrot as a friend. There. Okay. Like that. So we're gonna add in our flowers in a second. All right, next we are going to this guy hanging out, this baby. I'll give him a house. And let's give him, it's too small of a house. Let's actually make this little flower using these little jewels, kind of the same way as the rocks. So you can use your rocks that you made your flower with. Like that. See? And then we are going to take some shells and find a little spot for my cat. And let's see, we have a frog, but he's not going to really fit in there. Let's give him some shells. Marbles are shiny. You can use all those rainbow rocks, which, you know, maybe we'll put that on the tribal guys. Put the rainbow rocks in here for him. That'll look nice. Okay. That open. Okay. So then we can add our flowers and things like that. So we're just gonna take them. It's gonna kind of create some dimensions, some trees. Nice place to live, basically. These are bottle brushes, pretty cool. We'll give that to the cat. You just kind of poke them in. Like secret little space for them. It's called a mini garden. So you can play around with these and move things around. But there we have our little cat. I'm going to change this guy to the frog. The frog with the little flower in the house. You can also use Play-Doh and make like a house out of Play-Doh. And there's our little tribal guy with the rainbow rocks and the butterfly. So those are fun. You can decorate your house or room with them. Okay. Okay, so then let's see, we are going to move along to making a caterpillar. So using recycled materials, you're going to take an egg dish, like one of these cardboard ones, and there's 2 rows. So that can be 2 caterpillars, or if you cut them in half, it can be 4 caterpillars, depending on how many you want to make, or if you have brothers and sisters or friends that want to make this with you, or mom and dad. So I got this idea from my friend, made these yesterday with her 2 little girls. They were super cute. So you're gonna just cut it down the middle. Ask mom and dad to help you, because it's not easy to cut them. You can do this. I might be able to like gently tear it. Might be easier. Okay, like this. All right, so you can kind of see how he's gonna be a little caterpillar. So you can make your caterpillar whatever color you want. If you want to use your rainbow colors, you could do one for each one. Or you could make him the color that he is, which is green. So it depends on if you like to make things realistic, or if you like to use your imagination. There's really no right or wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna use a bigger brush, and I'm gonna mix lots of green. I'm gonna go with the realistic approach. So I'm just gonna paint this caterpillar green. Probably the next one I would do would be rainbow. I'm a rainbow fan. Okay, so there we have his body. So this is where we're going to use some leaves for his head. I'm going to cut some right here. Okay, these you might want to use tape or glue. Where'd my tape go? I have to use this tape for now. Clear tape would be better. Okay, so I'm going to give him one on this side. Actually paint over the tape too. And then one on this side. Then all he needs is some eyes. So you can either paint the eyes on, you can wait till he dries, and you can paint the eyes with the marker, draw them on. Yeah, we could glue these on too, like after he dries. I don't think this tape is gonna work. I had clear tape, but I don't know where it went. Okay, so we'll stick those on afterwards. So, or I happen to have some googly eyes from school and some sticker eyes. So I'm going to use these sticker eyes. You have those, you can use those. Or yeah, you can just dab them on. I would use a different color paint. Or like I said, wait for it and do it with markers. Okay, so there we gave the caterpillar some eyes. These eyes have different personalities. And then after he dries, we'll stick these back on. So I'll hold them up so you can kind of get the idea. And this might be like a fun little guy that you can put in your kitchen. So there's our caterpillar. And then let's see. Only a couple other things that I wanted to suggest, especially for the really little kids, if you don't want to make a mess. You have a really nice deck outside in the backyard, is just give them some water, preferably not the paint water, but some clear water, and you can just paint right on to the ground. So I don't really want to do this because this paint is non-washable, but it will show up and dry right away too, but you'll be able to see. It's not really a good example. I'm just going to show you a little bit right here. It'll be okay. So see how I can just, and the kids will really like that. Kids love water, babies love water. Just give them some water in a plastic dish and a paintbrush, and they'll have fun with that. So you can do that, and you can do that on the ground, and it's kind of fun to watch evaporate and kind of wipe that up. In the sun, they can kind of see how fast it takes to dry, especially if it's warm like today. So that's one good idea for the little ones. And then if you are older ones in school age, you might want to find a smooth flat rock like this. And you know, I'm going to include some ideas on my email to you, just like how you make a ladybug and things like that, different little bugs and happy faces. You know, I painted this one. You could just paint them each different colors, put a happy face, or you can actually turn them into things. But one cool thing to do is if you have a thin brush, you can kind of do this like pointillism thing where you take little dots. You just put the tip of the brush in the paint, and you're just going to put little dots and make your design. So I'm going to start, it's kind of like I call them mandala rocks. So we did the mandalas, but instead of drawing it, I'm just using little dots. Really carefully. paint is starting to dry. So this is something if you want to challenge yourself and you are 6 or 7 or 8. Let's see, let's get some water on my paints. And basically I'm going to keep going with designs until my rock is finished. So when you're out like at a river, it's a really good time to pick up some river rock because it's been tumbled in the water and it's nice and smooth and perfect for painting a design on it. So kind of see what I'm doing here? See, a lot of green from our caterpillar. So I will add green. Like blocking the sun there. And we'll see if we can get a little orange. The rock is red, so we don't need red. It probably wouldn't show up too well. So I'll try orange. It shows up a little bit. There we go. So that's a little bit more detail oriented. So that's to give the older ones an idea of something to do. Okay, so I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Those are just some fun ideas for Earth Day. So kind of see what materials you have and work with what you have. You can alter some things around, but have fun with it. Okay, so bye everyone. I hope you had fun. We'll see you soon.